you guys. I know one could be just more excited about what you get out of it, which I'm totally excited about helping you in, whatever, but also just being open to helping build the team. Like the fact is, and can we close that? The fact is that we're always like, if I could clone people, like I would, that'd be great. You know, like when we find great people that we love, like I'd be so excited if we could just clone them. That's not something that we were allowed to do. But I'm always looking to really multiply from the best people. And I'm always excited about being able to spend more, whether, you know, it's doing extra contests, money, things that you guys can win through helping us get more people onto the team. So in terms of winning the contest, it's not hard to get PRs, getting, you know, 3 or 5 or 7 or whatever, but it just takes some work. Now, it might be hard to get them all your close personal friends. Now, in one note, like I said, anyone who's down to meet, I'd really love to meet them, and you could just tell them like, hey, look, would you be willing to at least just meet my manager? I'd be like, not an interview or whatever, but just like meet her. Like, she's awesome. I think you'd really like it, but I'd love for you to at least just meet her. You know, so it's kind of like a setup, almost like an alley-oop, where it's like, hey, dude, what are you doing over the break? You know, like, you know, or hey, where are you getting money for like the holidays and like gifts and like going out, probably whatever. And for some people, you might have some of the upper income is like, oh, my mom's credit card or whatever, and be like, yeah, but dude, having your own money, like seriously, like we're gonna use to have your own money. But beyond that, be like, well, it's also a really cool way to get some really good experience. You know, like really during the holidays, it comes out more through like, yo, what are you doing during the break? You know, be down to make some extra cash, but my job really needs some extra help. And then in addition to that, be like, and it's sick for your resume. Be like, but they're like, I don't know, bro, I don't know, you know, whatever. And you're like, I'd love for you to at least, because your close friends know what you do, right? Yeah. You sell the knives. Yeah. So like, dude, I don't want to sell knives. All right. So your close friends are like, dude, you sell that. I don't want to sell knives, dude. I don't want to sell knives, right? That was my close friends, which I ended up recruiting several of them. My roommate, my best friend, everyone, like, dude, I don't want to sell knives. So with those close people, you know, those people that you're really close to, and you're like, look, be like, I know it's a little more, be like, I'd love for you to at least just meet my manager. Be like, if you're down, like she said, she'd meet us at like Starbucks, Chipotle, whatever. Like, I'd like for you to at least just meet her. She's awesome. So for your close friends, you just need to try to get an alley-oop where you're just like, can you at least just meet her? Even at school, like on campus, like when I'm advertising at FIU, it's like, hey, let's meet at Jamba Juice, or let's meet at whatever, and just sit and talk for like 10, 15 minutes, you know? But they can at least meet me, and I can share with them like what we're looking, what we're building, you know, like what we need help with, and if they're down to hear more information. And I'll tell you guys, most of the time that they meet me, they want to at least check it out. Like they're like, you know, I'm like, hey, check out the first day. If you're like, it's not for me, then don't do it. But it's pretty awesome. Be like, and I was super skeptical too. So I always like can share my story with them. So that's a really positive thing. Now, in addition to that, there's a lot of different ways that you can get. So I want you guys can grab one of these. But there's a bunch of different ways. I know some of you guys, you know, or one of you might have seen this before, but I put this together for our guys before that really wanted to win the trip, and it was awesome. The biggest thing that I'll tell you guys is the third part here, which we'll go through, that was probably what brought in the most people, was the private messages. All right. So the first thing is just texting. So there's one, you know, texting like, hey, you know, I'm at work right now, I have a quick question or whatever. Either you can just text them. And then there's, once you talk to them, you know, alley-ooping them over. Most of you guys have seen that at some point or another. People that were never reached, or like you just don't know what they're doing, you can just do, and you can put next to never reached, just put direct text. This is a direct text that you're just telling them what we need. You can just be like, yo, I'm not sure what you're up to for the holidays, but my job has some part-time, full-time openings they're looking to fill. Awesome resume builder, $15 starting pay, super flexible schedules. Let me know if you know anyone who wants more info. Do you guys see that? So it's not asking them what. It's not like, do you want to work? It's just throwing it out there. So you're saying, so put a star next to that. That's something that I would do. I would text my whole freaking phone that, because even if they didn't want, like, let's say it was someone you talked to before about work, it's different now. So for you, Trepto, you like worked in the summer, it's like, hey, not sure what you're up to for the holidays, you know, but my job has some, you know, part-time, full-time openings they're looking to fill, you know, and sending that out, $15 starting pay. Let me know if you know anyone wants more info. If it's friends that all knew about it before, be like, hey, I know that you might not have been interested in working, but my job really needs some help for the holidays. Da, da, da. Let me know if you know anyone who wants more info. So you can kind of shorten it. And that's what I did with some of the guys in the past is I show them, I'm like, just everyone that like said like, oh, I don't want to do the job. Just be like, hey, I know you weren't interested, but my job really needs some help for the holidays. It's $15 starting pay. Da, da, da. Let me know if you know anyone who wants more info. And we'll get people off of that. And like, I've gotten so many, and they're like, oh, actually, dude, I need a job now. Or, hey, my friend's girlfriend needs a job, or, you know, whatever it is.
Can I do that while I'm doing like the calls with the receptionist?
Like send text messages
No,
out.
like when I'm talking to someone, it's like, oh, is that Cutco? And they're like, no, I'm not interested. Can I ask them if they know anybody or no?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Yeah, be like, hey, do you know anyone who might be looking for some extra work?
Okay.
Because definitely we want some, because they might not need a job, but they're like, oh yeah, my girlfriend needs a job, or my friend needed a job, or whatever. Like most people know someone who needs a job. So that's an easy, is just like texting your, so again, this is an example, so you can change it, but just something of like, hey dude, I know you weren't interested, but my job has some openings. Let me know if you know anyone who's looking for work. And then people that are just random in your phone, you're just like, hey, you know, here's what's happening. So are you guys cool with that? So that's one thing. The next thing is obviously social media. All right. So it's something that a lot, you know, you guys, that we're always telling you guys like, oh, put a status up, right? So you put status up. So personal status, whatever. Again, statuses can all be adjusted, but on there, it's just something extra. Some of our guys have done that has been big is posting it in big groups. Like, are you a part of any groups on Facebook or clubs? Some of our guys are part of like, you know, senior class of Columbus or whatever. And then just clubs that they're involved with, whether it's debate clubs, you know, volunteer groups, churches that you might have like different groups or be part of different groups. That's an extra bonus thing if you're part of any groups that you can send out, or even friends that are a part of. So I did that this summer for one of our girls, and I went through and saw, you know, her and I were sitting down, and she like was part of a bunch of, had like different groups, and you could post in it. You could put like a post up. And so we said, hey, if anyone knows someone, and we put a post, and we were able to get some people from that. All right. So it has your, you know, campus groups, frat groups, sorority groups, old high school groups that you don't use anymore. They're great because everyone in that group, when you post, what happens? A notification comes up. So if they have their notifications up, like all these people see it from putting it up in that group. So on top of just your personal, having that. Another thing you guys know that we've talked about is like, can you ask a couple good friends to put up statuses for you as well? Because they'll get different circles, you know, or different people that'll see it. All right. Now here's the big one. This is the biggest one that, I mean, year after year after year. One of my, I don't know who started this, but like it was actually someone, we stole it from someone, because there was this guy for this program for you know, there was a trip that they could win for the holidays to get people to help for January program. He actually had sent out, he'd get like 30, 40, 50 people set up for interviews. And we're like, what is this kid doing? And we're like, and these are all his PRs. And he was getting all these, like a lot in his city, but not just in his city. He was also getting them like around the state, all right? And just so you guys know, for the trip, I mean, if they're anywhere in the state, even in Georgia or Carolinas or Virginia, the Eastern region, they count for the trip, all right? Obviously, we're trying to help Miami win the cup right now, so I want as many Miami people, but for you guys winning the trip, anywhere in the East or the contest, if it's in the Eastern region, it counts for it, because it's an Eastern region sponsored contest, okay? So this guy, EJ was his name, he would send out, he would sit down and he'd commit to, you know, he had it in his schedule where it was like 30 minutes or an hour here, 30 minutes or an hour there. And he took time every day. He did this for like a week. And he took like, he's like an hour a day, and sometimes a little bit more, where it was 30 or an hour or whatever it was. And he would just send out private messages. And so each day it was looking back, okay, who's responding back to him, you know, whatever. But he'd spend a minimum amount. And by the way, he said when he was aggressive, he put it like 3 different times in the day, because he'd send out messages in them at night. He said was one of the best times to send out in the evening, because a lot of people are like, they're on social media or whatever at night, they might see it at night. And then he'd get responses. And so he either responded that night, or the next morning he'd respond, and then they'd get it around lunchtime or whatever. And then, you know, he'd get him set up for an interview. So that was his routine, was like in the evening, he'd send out the most amount of outgoing messages and then wait for responses either that night or the next day, and then roll off of that. So the direct, and again, this can be adjusted depending what group that you're, if it's people that you know very well or people that you don't know. But like Rachel Robinson did this, Angie, this, and my top assistants. This is how we, by the way, this is how Silver Cup started in Miami from 2011 on, was because of this. And it was these private messages. And so it says, you're like, hey, the reason I'm randomly writing you is because the company I've been working with is looking to bring on some people, and it'll say this for the holidays. Cool. So instead of this summer, we adjust it now that we're looking to bring on some people for the holidays. Pay starts at $15, goes up from there. Schedules are flexible. I thought I'd write you because, and so here's where you'll adjust it each time. So it'll be either high school seniors have done really well, or FIU students have done really well, or Columbus grads have done really well, or whatever is how however they're going to connect to that. Ferguson grad alumni have done really well, but whoever's done really well, and you're like, they've done well in the past, I think you do really well too. If you don't know them, don't say I think you do really well too. Cool. Like I told them, I'm like, if you don't know who the heck you're messaging, because Rachel's like, she's like, I'm going to message everyone. Like, I mean, how many friends do you have on Facebook? You have so many friends, you don't even know them. And I did this for raising money for Haiti, by the way. And I did like I'm like, I'm going to do my recruiting message. I'm going to do this and I sent to people that I'm like, hey, I know this is really random. And I just opened with that, cause like we didn't talk, but they were like my friend. I didn't even know how I knew them. And I had people that donated money. They're like, well, that's so great what you're doing. And I'm like, oh, thanks. And like, I've never talked to them, like or maybe I talked to them like 5 years ago, or it doesn't matter. Like people they have no problem. They either don't respond or they did respond, and the ones that do, it's a bonus. Because if they don't respond, well, I wasn't going to talk to them anyway. So those who did respond, I'm getting stuff from it. So here, I'm like, hey, so reason. I'm randomly writing you. So you just literally sit down for like 30 minutes and just send out, like, it's copy paste, adjust their name, adjust the, maybe you need to change, oh, hey, I know this is totally random, or get rid of, I think you do well, and then just put however you know them. So this is where I'm saying it just takes intentionality, because you just need to sit down and just do it and just send out messages, send out messages, send out messages. Maybe you're like, all right, I'm going to commit to sending 50 a day. I mean, some of you guys, how many friends do you have on Facebook? You just got it. How many friends do you, I mean, I don't know. I like hundreds. How many do you? Like 600 something. Okay, so this is it's really big way of networking, but sending these out. And by the way, you could do this via email. You could do this, and then for you, it might just be like more of the text message, and then when they respond is a similar thing. But that's big. Now another thing is you can send out an indirect. Indirect would be texting. You can text your friends or Facebook your friends. Okay, and so this is something Angie did. This is exactly what Angie sent. By the way, we stole this from her, and she got so many of her friends posting. And I think she had gotten this from, so when they started using EJ's approach of private messaging, she's like, you know what? I want my friends to like put up statuses for me. So this was like, how can I get my friends to put statuses? So maybe you don't have a lot of friends on Facebook, but you have friends who are on Facebook. And so you're like, man, let me get them. So you can text them or you can Facebook them. So read that. So that says, so in the indirect, everyone there. So you're like, hey, I need a huge favor. And so this was Angie. She's like, I'm working so hard to win a contest to my job. I've asked Facebook friends of mine to help me out by putting a status on their Facebook. Looks good on my resume, helps me stand out for an internship I want. Would you be willing to post this on your Facebook? Your reward, good karma, winky face. Like, so this is what she said to her friends. And again, you can adjust it, but she was just asking friends, yo, can you help me out? Can you put something like this really helps me? And so people were like, oh yeah, what do you want me to put? And then they put up, hey, if anyone's looking for some work, or you can just say my friend's job is bringing people on, $15 starting pay, awesome resume builder, flexible schedules, 1 to 5 week work programs, can possibly secure a job for the summer or beyond. Hit her up for more info, and then they tag you in it. Okay, so then she was having people tag her or like comment to her, and so some of your friends will be like, oh hi, my friend had told me that your job had openings. That's what you'll get, because I've had people do this for me. And so you'll have them like messaging you because you were tagged in it and you don't know them, and they're like, oh, what is it? Or whatever it is. So again, you change the verbiage to like my sibling, like if you have your brothers or sisters, put it up for you, and like so it's asking people to do it. And for other forms of social media, you can again type the status out on your phone or write it out, screenshot it, and then put it up on like Instagram or different things that people use. So the next thing is they're gonna go, what is it? Or where is it, right? That's the next thing. So when they say, where is it, or what is it, then you're like, oh, the position. And literally, guys, you can just have this like copied and pasted somewhere. Like type it out once, or you copy it so you have it. So literally you like copy, paste. Copy, paste. Don't go off what I just, literally, if you just copy, paste this, you will get PRs. And so they're like, oh, what is it? What do you do? What does it say? The position is customer sales, service, sales, marketing. We meet one-on-one with customers. You're guaranteed $15 for every meeting. You can check it out more at Summer Break Work, which now we'll put winterbreakwork.com, by the way. We have for the winter. You can check it out more on winterbreakwork.com, or if you want to be scheduled for an interview to learn more about it, just shoot me your number and I can have a manager contact you. I'm sure you'd like to more about it, so you'll have more time to chat with the manager and interview. All right. And so literally copy and paste, copy and paste. That is your answer. And then they're like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah. You know, and then you just say, hey, cool, shoot me your number. I'll pass it on to the receptionist to give you a call and get more info on the positions, potentially get you in for an interview or shoot you a call myself when I get a chance. All right. And that's it. You just get their numbers and shoot them to me, shoot them to Paz. Like you could even say, oh, I'll give it to my boss, you know, and like they'll call you. So we could call them for an interview. So this is huge. Now, someone took this on a higher level. I won't, not the back, but just on the front with the private messages. This was something that's basically from us doing that. Someone started targeting every time they were online. They're like, let me target everyone who's online because then I can just like chat with them. So in terms of direct message, this is just you pick a time of the day or at night. You're not planning on sitting there chatting the whole time. Your objective is I'm going to send as many messages as possible. Well, another thing is you say, okay, you know, I have an hour to just sit here online and chat with people, right? And so you sit there and basically everyone that you see the green dot that they're currently active that are on there, it's sending them either that or there's another form of like, hey, do you know anyone who's looking for work? My job needs some help. And then they're like, and then what's the question always? What is it? Or where do you work? And I have a separate sheet of that, of a girl that was I think it was in the Northeast that was doing that, killing it, absolutely killing it with PRs. And she would get so many set because she was targeting on who's online right now. And she was getting them set like immediately, you know? So that's another thing where if you have time and you're like, okay, right now, like, I'm gonna phone you, but if you're like, okay, I can take the next 45 minutes and do that, that approach is more direct. It's like, hey, I know this is, you know, or this is random or whatever. My job really needs some help. Do you know anyone who might be looking for extra help or whatever? And I have the verbiage. And then it shows a sample of like, what is it? Oh, it's marketing, da 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 da. And it tells them a quick, hey, if you want more info, shoot me your number and I'll call you right now. And that's that approach. And it's just like, oh, it's a basic marketing job, da da da. If you want more info, shoot me your number. I'll call you right now. And she'd call them on the phone. Hey, hold on. You know what? I'm at work and I have my manager can explain it a lot better to you. Hold on. Boom. That's it. And that's what she would do. And she'd sit there for an hour and just anyone who was like, oh yeah, what is it? And she'd be like, oh, it's basic marketing. Da da da. Hey, shoot me your number. I'll call you right now. Get them on the phone, boom. And she'd book up, you know, 3, 4, 5 people like that from just messaging. So that's you saying, hey, I'll do that for 30 minutes now, whatever. So if you can take 30, 45 minutes, or you say, hey, tomorrow after school, whatever, from 3:30 to 4:30, I'll come to the office. Like you can set up a time with us and I'll have one of the girls ready to sit with you, Lorena or whoever. And so we did that in the summer. And I'll always do that if you're down for that and say, hey, for 1 hour, I'll come in and literally like bring your laptop and just message people that are online. And just like, oh, give me your, I'll call you right now. I'll call you right now. I'll call you right now and get those set up. So like I said, it's not hard to do this and to win this and to get the PRs. It just takes intentionality and it takes time to do it that not everyone's willing to do, but shoot, you know, for what you guys can get from it, it's pretty awesome, the rewards. And if you get on this like tonight, tomorrow, Tuesday, and impact this week, you could still go out there and launch out 3 this week. Angie launched out 4 in one training and then the other from just being intentional at the beginning of the week and then still win the Xbox One or the, you know, whatever level, which is pretty crazy. So that's really cool. And then on the back gives you additional things that you guys can do. One is campus recruits, like literally just walking on campus and saying like, hey, do you know anyone who might be looking for a resume builder or some extra income, maybe some, you know, spending money for the holidays? And they'll be like, oh, dude, me, you know, or they'll be like, oh, my friend. And they're like, oh, cool. Let me tell you about it. Be like, do you have a quick second? And then this is like more vague, but you don't have to go into all formal, but you're like, oh, you know, like, we're interviewing people for, entry-level sales and service. We don't do any door-to-door telemarketing. It's kind of weird, you know, whatever. And so literally like this is a clipboarding approach that if you have a clipboard and you're like talking to people, you can do that. So it's an additional thing you guys can help on campus and get PRs with, but you can also do it anywhere at the mall, this, that. So it might be something you're excited. You might be more excited about just sitting at the computer and just messaging people, but it's another way to get people. And I know some of our guys love that. That's how Tovar gets a lot of his people on actual campus. There's an indirect way of passing sheets around a classroom, which we have a sheet that says looking for part-time work or looking for help that you can use. There's a school email blast. If you're part of, if you're at FIU or if you're at whatever, there's a like Angel, there's Blackboard, and you just got to take your teacher off of it, but they'll send an email and say, hey, good afternoon, reason, or, you know, good evening or whatever. Reason I'm randomly writing, use the company I've been working with is looking to bring on some people for the holidays. Starting pay $15 goes up from there. And if you're sending this, let me know, because right now you want to change it and say they have 400 offices nationwide, so you can work back home for the holidays. So if people are like leaving back home for the holidays, they can still apply and they could transfer home, because they're like, I'm not going to apply for a job here in Miami now when I'm going home next month for the holidays. But we sure as heck want them to apply now and train so that they go home for the holidays and sell back home to their friends and family, you know? So you want to adjust that to say, hey, good afternoon. You know, I've been working with, bring some people on for the holidays. There's 400 offices nationwide. So the pays $15, goes up from there. Schedules are flexible. I thought I'd write because Art Institute guys have done really well with us in the past. You know, I think you do well too, or you take that out. Shoot me a message if you're out of luck and make some cash this semester or during the holidays. You know, good luck with finals or whatever, or have a great Thanksgiving if you're sending those out now. So you can just kind of adjust that email blast, and then you'll get people that comment on the email blast. And they're like, oh, what is it? Where is it? Same thing. And you would go with the same thing here and get their number, and we'll call them up. Then this right here, it says, check it out combo with no-shows. Some of you guys recommended people that didn't show up for their interview or didn't show up for training, right? You got like friends that we had set up before. And so this right here, you're like, hey, I know you were scheduled for the interview, or I know you were scheduled for training, or maybe they didn't pick up, or they were like, oh, call me back. You're like, I know that, you were called before, but the job still has openings. I know you were unsure if it was for you, but honestly, I love it here. It's a ton of fun, great income, awesome experience. I can't promise you'll do well because the job isn't for anyone, but you should at least check it out. Would you be down to meet my manager? That's what we're using. Put a star next to that and be like, set up to meet with me. So anyone who like wasn't sure about it, didn't want to come in, whatever. So myself, Mukso, like we're all going to be helping out with that, but like just meeting them so they can just kind of get a feel for things, like a better, like very non-formal, feel to it, and be able to meet those people. All right. So then on the bottom, it has miscellaneous, siblings, friends, make sure it's whatever. But the biggest thing I'll tell you is there's a lot of different sources on here. The biggest thing I'd focus on is those private messages. Like we always, like without anyone who's done this and really focused on doing this and sending it to everyone in their freaking fit, not being like, I'll send it to these 5-10 people. I'm not telling you you're going to want to do that. I'm talking about you send that freaking message to everyone in your Facebook and just see who responds. You're just kind of throwing it out there and see who responds. And those who have done that, they have always won whatever contest that we've been doing, everyone who's been intentional about that. So, so I want to walk you guys through. So I would say this evening right now at 6:20, if you're going to grab, I would say whether you grab food and then just sit down and then just do like private messages till like 7:15, and then just rock calls, like book up your demos. And when you're done setting up your demos, if you have time, you can spend like another 30 minutes sending out messages. Tonight is a great night to send stuff out because, again, you'll get more responses later. You'll get responses tomorrow. And the sooner in the beginning of the week we can get them. This is my last training for a couple weeks, Friday and Saturday, like this weekend. So anyone that we can get in now, that's going to be huge. Cool. So any questions with that? All right, so we're going to help you set out messages. So we have a couple different laptops. I know Togar has his laptop, so we'll sit down so you can sit and do that.